Every VDI and DaaS platform you will ever touch, Azure Virtual Desktop, Citrix DaaS, Omnissa Horizon, is built from the same 5 parts underneath its branding. In this lesson we strip away the vendor consoles and look at the control plane, the gateway, the session hosts, the golden images, and the profile layer, then trace the full connection flow from a user's click to a working desktop. Learn this shape once, and every future vendor-specific lesson becomes translation, not new architecture. The broker is the brain of the platform. When a user requests a desktop, the broker decides whether they're entitled to it and which specific session host should serve them right now, based on real-time health and load across the host pool. It's called the AVD broker in Azure Virtual Desktop, the delivery controller function in Citrix DaaS, and the connection server role in Omnissa Horizon. Different names, identical job, make the routing decision. The gateway sits between the outside world and your session hosts. Its defining trick in modern cloud platforms is reverse connect. The session host reaches out to the service first, so you never need to open an inbound firewall port on it. The client also connects outward to the same gateway, and the service brokers the two together. Microsoft manages this for you in AVD. Citrix calls its version the Citrix Gateway Service. Omnissa calls it the Unified Access Gateway. Same job, 3 names. Session hosts are where the computing actually happens, the virtual machine or shared server running the desktop OS the user interacts with. They come in 2 flavors, personal or persistent, one dedicated VM per user with state preserved between sessions, and pooled or non-persistent, a shared pool of interchangeable VMs typically reset to a clean state on logoff. Either way, the host has to register itself with the broker so the broker knows it exists and is healthy. A golden image is the standardized template, operating system, patches, agents, and applications that every session host in a pool is built from. Instead of hand configuring 1,000 virtual machines, you build and validate one image and roll it out everywhere. This is what makes fleets of identical, disposable hosts practical. When something breaks, you rebuild the host from a known good image rather than troubleshooting it by hand. We go deep on image management tooling in Module 3. If golden images make every host identical, the profile layer is what makes each session feel personal despite that. It carries user-specific state, documents, app settings, browser data, separately from the operating system, typically mounted as a container the moment the user logs on. This is what lets a genuinely stateless, disposable pooled host still feel like my desktop to the person using it. FSLogix, Citrix Profile Management, and Omnissa Dynamic Environment Manager are the concrete tools here, and Lesson 4 of this module is dedicated entirely to them. Let's put the 5 blocks together into one flow. The user opens their client and requests their feed of desktops and apps. They authenticate against the identity provider, Microsoft Entra ID or Active Directory in most cases. The broker evaluates their entitlement and the current state of the host pool and selects a target host. A connection ticket authorizing that specific session is issued to the client. And the client connects through the gateway, which relays the session so the host never needs an open inbound port. Once the session lands on the assigned host, the profile layer mounts the user's profile container so their documents and settings appear as if they were always local to that machine. From that point, the display protocol takes over entirely, streaming the desktop to the client and carrying keyboard, mouse, and other input back to the host. We cover display protocols in full in the very next lesson. How does the broker actually know a session host exists and is healthy? Most production platforms use agent-based registration, a platform-specific service, the AVD agent, the Citrix Virtual Delivery Agent, or the Omnissa Horizon agent, runs on every session host and maintains a live heartbeat connection to the broker. That agent is also what plumbs the display protocol, redirection channels, and remote management commands, which is why it's the dominant model in real deployments. The alternative, agentless registration, skips the dedicated on-host service and instead has the broker infer host state directly from the underlying hypervisors or cloud provider's own APIs. Is the VM running? Is it responding to health probes? This trades some richness of real-time signal for a smaller footprint on the host. You'll mostly encounter this term when comparing lighter weight or browser-only remote access tools against full VDI platforms, which almost universally use agent-based registration in production. 5 building blocks, 1 architecture. The broker decides, the gateway connects securely without inbound ports, session hosts do the compute, golden images make hosts identical and disposable, and the profile layer makes a shared host feel personal. Every vendor you study for the rest of this course is just putting a different name on these same 5 things. Next lesson, we go deep on the piece that actually determines how good a VDI session feels to the end user, the display protocol carrying pixels, audio, and input across the network.